Hi, this is Nanette Hosenfeld with Great Basin Fire Potential Briefing for Sunday, June 30th, 2019. Looking at fire potential impacts over the next few days, we will see scattered thunderstorms possible across southeastern Nevada, most of Utah today, and those will become more isolated further east on Monday. On Tuesday, we're looking at warmer and drier conditions with some gusty winds possible across southern Utah, southern Nevada, and the Arizona Strip. Over the past 24 hours, there's been really not much in the way of precipitation across the Great Basin. You can see a few lightning strikes reported across the southern and southeastern parts of the area. Fire activity is pretty light across the Great Basin, still pretty quiet for the time of year. Looking at precipitation over the past 14 days, you can see that the greatest coverage of precipitation has been across the southeastern part of the area. Outside of there, precipitation has been pretty well below normal. You can see that things have really dried out across the northwestern portions of the Great Basin. ERCs reflect this precipitation trend pretty well. You can see ERCs are up into the 50 to 60th or 50 to 69th percentile across much of the area that has been below normal as far as precipitation. There are a few sites reporting ERCs in the 70 to 80th percentile. Pretty generally across the Great Basin, you can see that those ERCs are trending upwards. Looking at 100-hour fuel moisture across some selected portions of the area, you can see in northwestern Nevada, those 100-hour fuels are now down right around normal, and a similar story across southern Utah on the Arizona Strip. You can see those 100-hour fuel moistures are also close to normal. So we are beginning to dry out and see fire conditions become closer to normal for the time of year. However, with that being said, this is looking at sagebrush fuel moisture. And while those finer fuels, like the 100-hour fuels, are getting dry, close to normal, sagebrush fuel moisture is still quite a bit above normal across pretty much the entire Great Basin. And finally, just looking at those 10-hour fuel moistures, again, you can see they've really dried out across almost the entire Great Basin. The satellite this morning shows a disturbance moving across the area. This is the remnants of a tropical storm, and so we will see some showers and thunderstorms this afternoon. Again, for today, you can see some moisture in place across much of the Great Basin, and so with our significant fire potential forecast, we are looking at those eastern areas of the Great Basin in that green category. Looking at today in a little more detail, we are expecting showers and thunderstorms across much of Utah, into southeastern Idaho, and portions of far eastern Nevada. The image on the right shows us the minimum relative humidity for today, and you can see that portions of northeastern Utah, southeastern Idaho will see pretty high minimum relative humidities this afternoon. As we move into Monday, things dry out a little bit, though we do keep some moisture in place across the southern part of the area. However, we will see much decreased coverage of storm activity moving into Monday. Relative humidities will continue to stay high across northeastern Utah, but quite low across the remainder of the area. As we move into Tuesday, we'll start to see some drier air make its way into the western part of the Great Basin, as well as increasing temperatures. By Tuesday, really not much in the way of shower and thunderstorm activity expected across the Great Basin, and we are looking at those relative humidities continuing to decrease across much of the area. So over the next 3 days, the majority of the precipitation will fall across a higher terrain of Utah. As we move into Wednesday, we do look at a rather unsettled weather pattern continuing with moisture in place across the north. We are expecting windy conditions across the southern part of the Great Basin on Wednesday, with that weather system moving by to the northern part of the area. As we move into Thursday, that system moving off to the east, we'll look at winds decreasing a bit on Thursday with drier conditions. So Wednesday and Thursday, really no precipitation accumulation expected. As we move into Friday, some moisture lingering across the area, pretty benign weather conditions. And then finally on Saturday, looking at some more moisture in the area. Over the next 7 days, really not too much expected as far as precipitation, and really what we will see is expected to fall in the next 3 days. In the 8 to 14 day period, the Climate Prediction Center is calling for above normal temperatures across the western half of the area, below normal temperatures across the eastern part of the Great Basin, with below normal precipitation across the southern part of the area, and that below normal precipitation highlight is really pointing to the fact that typically during this time period, the second week of July, we'd be seeing a pretty good monsoonal push moving through the southern part of the United States, and that's really not happening. That's due in large part to these weather systems that we have moving through the northern part of the area. So that's it. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. Our information is on the screen, and you can also find us on Twitter. Thank you.